So here's a question for you. How does a giant 80-year-old company manage to not just keep its head above water, but actually thrive in a world that feels like it's changing by the second? Well, today we're digging into Mahindra's latest annual report to find out. Let's see what their playbook looks like. And it all kicks off with this killer quote from Bob Dylan, used by Mahindra's own chairman. It just perfectly sums up this feeling of constant change and uncertainty, right? It's the backdrop for everything they're doing. All right, so this is the core problem they're facing. And let's be honest, we all are. How do you build something solid when the ground beneath your feet feels like shifting sands? This is the challenge Mahindra is tackling head-on.
Okay, so the report doesn't shy away from the tough stuff. It calls out the geopolitical conflicts, the trade risks, you name it. But what's really interesting is the spin they put on it. They argue that in the middle of all this chaos, India is emerging as this anchor of stability, a trustworthy partner. And that, right there, is a massive opportunity.
And here's the thing. They're not just hunkering down and waiting for things to blow over. Nope, they're going on the attack. Their whole strategy is about harnessing the energy of the storm, not just surviving it. They have a name for it, turning challenges into Amrit, the nectar of opportunity.
So what is this Amrit, really? It's a mindset. It's about looking at all the disruption out there and not seeing a threat, but seeing a golden opportunity to hit the accelerator to grab new advantages for the long haul. It's literally turning a negative into a positive.
So how do they actually do it? Well, the plan really boils down to 4 key moves. First, position India as the go-to alternative for global supply chains. Huge. Then they're doubling down on manufacturing, pumping up private investment, and, this part's critical, moving super fast and being nimble enough to win on the world stage. And these images, they nail this dual strategy perfectly. On one side, you've got their absolute core, the iconic tractors they're known for, where they're already leaders. And on the other side, bam! You see the future, these slick new electric vehicles. It's about respecting where you came from while sprinting toward where you're going.
Okay, great strategy, but does it actually work? Let's get into the results because the numbers really do tell the story here. And it's a pretty convincing one.
Let's start with their bread and butter, farm equipment. Get this, they've got an incredible 43.3% of the market. And they're not just sitting on it, they're actually growing that lead.
Then you look at light commercial vehicles, and it's even more dominant. They control over half the entire market. Think about that for a second. 51.9%.
And you might think, okay, but what about the new stuff? Well, in the super hot market for electric three-wheelers, they've already grabbed almost 43% market share, and their volume has grown 4.6 times in just 3 years. That's not growth, that's an explosion. And look, these market share numbers are awesome, but what does it mean for the bottom line? It means strong, healthy financials. We're talking 14% revenue growth, earnings per share growing even faster, and a solid 18% return on equity. In plain English, that means they're really, really good at turning investment into profit. So, that's what's happening right now. But Mahindra, they're definitely playing chess, not checkers. Let's peek into where they're placing their bets for the future.
Check these out. These aren't just a couple of new EVs. They're built on INGLO, which is India's first ever platform designed from the ground up for electric vehicles. This is a massive leap forward in homegrown tech.
And it's not just the cars that are getting a futuristic upgrade. Their factories are too. They call it Matrix. We're talking about intelligent manufacturing, where the factory itself can think, learn, and adapt. It's like giving the assembly line a brain. Now this is where it gets really cool, because they're making AI actually useful for everyday people. With Vehicle GPT, you don't have to search through the manual. You just ask your car, hey, how do I work the rear wiper? And boom, you get an answer. Simple, brilliant. And they're doing the same thing with their services. The Finance Bot is an AI assistant for customers that can speak multiple languages. It's all about making complex stuff simple and accessible for everyone. Okay, so we've seen the tech, we've seen the profits, but that's not the whole story. Not even close. For Mahindra, it's about building value that goes way beyond the balance sheet. At the heart of it all is this planet-positive idea. And this isn't some fluffy mission statement they stick on a wall. It's a real boots-on-the-ground strategy. It means leading conversations at places like the World Economic Forum, shifting to solar and wind, and pushing for a circular economy.
And the human impact? It's staggering. Just look at this number. Through programs like Project Kabyle, they've empowered over 1 million women with skills training. That's not just a statistic. That's 1 million lives changed.
This image from their report really says it all, doesn't it? The idea that you can't have strong branches, the growth, the profits, without deep roots. And for them, that root is purpose. So, if you boil it all down, what's Mahindra's secret sauce for this chaotic world? It's a powerful mix. Lean on your core strengths, innovate like crazy for the future, and make sure everything you do is grounded in a rock-solid sense of purpose.
And that leaves us with a really big question to chew on. In this new era, who's really in the driver's seat of our future? Is it the nations we live in, or is it the giant companies that are actually designing, building, and powering the world around us? It's something to think about.